what's up? Welcome to the Spectrum Podcast. My name is TG, and this is my special guest, James. This is the guy I've been telling all of you about. Like I told you all, he's the male version of me, except he's much calmer than I am. I'll tell you that. So we're gonna start this entire thing off by well, actually, before we do that, James, how about you talk about yourself? Tell us about yourself.
Well, how's it going, guys? It is amazing to finally meet all of you. I've heard great things about you guys, man. I've heard great things about this show. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to kind of get started with you guys. I am a senior out of Chicago. I go to Chicago State. My passion has become sports broadcast and communication. So of course, anything football, basketball, baseball related. That's kind of my forte. Um, I know this is an Ohio State show, so I'm
Oh,
not
it's not
sure.
just an Ohio State show. As a matter of fact, this is where we could talk about Ohio State, college football as a whole, college basketball, NFL, NBA. We talk about
Mm,
all that. But any news regarding that pops up in the sports world, we're gonna talk about it. The
well,
OHIO podcast ain't just Ohio State. We cater to that fan base, yes,
mm,
but we also have Browns, Bengals, and but we're working towards expanding a little more. So this Spectrum podcast is basically an exploration of the OHIO podcast, which is where we
well,
can even get to it too.
this is where the specialty lies. That's why you brought me in as a special analyst that I am. So I'm
Yeah,
excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm really excited to be part of this.
yeah, and as a matter of fact, we can get started by talking about our pretty much a breaking news from Ohio State, which is the hire of Arthur Smith. This one to me, and I'll give it my opinion on this. I think it's a good hire. Now I'm not gonna overly praise it like I did with Matt Patricia because I know Matt Patricia and how good he
Yeah.
was, and I already know that Arthur Smith is a good OC. I do believe that, but I'm not gonna criticize it. But I'm not gonna overly praise it until I see it on the football field because I believe his offense actually can't fit what Ryan Day does on the football field. What do you believe when it comes to the
So
offense?
from watching how Pittsburgh moved this season, I believe that with him at the helm of running Ohio State's offense, it's going to run in a great way. Jeremiah Smith. Okay, that's the conversation that we're all ready to see is Jeremiah Smith. I think for me, that is who DK Metcalf was for him. Someone that's strong, athletic, that can get deep balls, that can go up with anybody that he wants to go up with. So I feel like he's going to have a lot of misdirectional stuff for a lot of the running backs, for a lot of offensive linemen. So I think that he's a great choice for Ohio State to really bring in some different looks.
Oh yeah, if you ask me, it's not just that too, but he's going to be moving around the tight ends a lot, and the way I think he would look at Jeremiah Smith is he looks at him the same way he looked at AJ Brown, the way he
Yeah.
looked at Drake London, the way he looked at DK Metcalf. Like no doubt about it, he looks at those guys like those guys were superstars, especially AJ Brown and Drake London, who's doing really good in the NFL. But I look at what he could do for this offense as well. Is he comes from a Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur type of offensive schematic style
Hmm.
is how he is, which is why I think it really could work. Because if you look at Ryan Day's passing game, it very much is like a Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay-ish kind of, kind of passing game in a sense. Even Matt LaFleur's in a sense. Like it's very similar to those passing games in the NFL. It's the run game where, like, Ryan Day's run game usually used to be good, but it did take a hit somewhat. Now, obviously, most of it's because of injuries that have happened to the running backs, but also from a schematic standpoint, up until 2024 when we got Chip Kelly. And I think bringing in Arthur Smith and his ability to run an offense that gets running backs like over 1,000 yards. Because no matter what people say, every offense that he's had has had running backs that went over 1,000 yards or dang near 1,000. Jalen Warren, if you ask me about him, I think if he'd been more of the feature back, which wasn't Arthur Smith's fault to me.
Hmm.
Like I think Arthur Smith wanted to use Jalen Warren more, but he couldn't really because of how Mike Tomlin likes to like rotate regarding the
Yeah.
running backs. I think if Jalen Warren had more chances, I think he could have had 1,000 yard season. But he didn't. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think that his run offense can combine with Ryan Day's passing offense to really make this offense very efficient. And I think he could get the tight ends more involved, like what he did with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. Because does
Hmm.
anybody know that Kyle Pitts uh, under Arthur Smith at Atlanta had over an 1,000 yard season, and he could have had more had he stayed healthy. AJ Brown, 2,000-yard
Yeah.
seasons. George Pickens almost had in the 1,000-yard season. Drake London almost had in the 1,000-yard season. Who else almost had in the 1,000-yard season? DK Metcalf this past year,
Hmm.
he almost had in the 1,000-yard season. You had another former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver who almost had over 1,000 yards. And if you look at what he's able to do with quarterbacks, especially, like he's never had great quarterback play. Like Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Tannehill to me are the two best quarterbacks that man has ever had in his career, which should tell you something.
I would have to agree. I think coming from first, I agree with you. Ohio State's running offense used to be kind of their bread and butter, and this year you saw more of a passing game from them, kind of leaving the run. I
And
think,
admittedly, and I will admit this though, we did have a young running back room. So no Trey, no Quinshawn. Those guys left. So you
yeah.
kinda, you know.
So I get the pivot of kind of trying to get everybody more involved, but I think with an offensive coordinator like him, and I also agree with you. I think Pittsburgh could have done a lot better with their run game, but I also feel like that also involves the line. Their line wasn't the top when it came to blocking, but Ohio State has a better line, has better communication when it comes to their running back. So I think that they can really expand on that and build on that as well.
Mhm.
I also believe from a quarterback standpoint, Aaron Rodgers was at a point when he came in that was kind of like, is this my last run? This is not my last run, but I'm going to try to give it my best because they started off strong during when like the start of the season, and it kind of dwindled as they usually do. Even last year when they had Russell Wilson, um, George Pickens almost had his career, but also last year George Pickens went out and the offense got stagnant because Russell Wilson didn't really know who to trust and his throwing was off. So to now be where he is with a team that's developing, improving, trying to get back to the college football championship, and they have the pieces, they have the tools, and now he gets to bring it all together. It's going to start with the run game. I think he's going to first start with the line. I think he's going to first work of trying to get that line the way it needs to be. And you got the safety net. You got the safety basket in Jeremiah Smith. You're gonna have him maybe for what, another year or two, and then that kid's going off to the draft to do some amazing things for a franchise at some point in his career. But while you have what you have now, next year is going to be hard for some teams to get past Ohio State because they're going to have to go to Ohio State. They're going to have to go against that defense, and then they're going to have to try to figure out that offense. So it's going to be a great year for them going into next year.
Oh yeah, and you know what's even better is like I look at this what Ryan Day did. Like you have Matt Patricia, former three-time Super Bowl champion of the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the greatest defensive minds. Yes, I get it. He was not great as a head coach. I do not care. I don't care. And now you have another former head coach who, yes, his head coaching career, again, that's really because of bad quarterback play more so.
Mm-hmm.
But, and he still managed to make it work regardless. Like his offense was still like top 15 in the league at Atlanta despite terrible quarterback play. But yes, as a head coach, his time didn't work out well. But as an offensive coordinator and same Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator, these two dudes, you got two NFL guys as your coordinators. That is the best. And think about it. We just hired Cortez Hankins, which I will want to get your thoughts on him in a second. But you get two NFL coordinators who can push back against Ryan Day, who Ryan Day can trust to run this offense correctly, who he can trust to run both these and be the head coach of the offensive defense so he can focus on being the CEO. Something that I said he should do from the beginning. I am not mad about this hire. I think this was a great hire. And I think if they could combine it the way he did with Chip Kelly, because what was the reason Chip Kelly got hired? Well, obviously, he is Ryan Day's mentor, and Ryan Day trusts him, but it's his run game. Like, the one thing about Chip Kelly was his passing game. Now, he never had the receivers he had at Ohio State or even in the NFL. Like, in the NFL and in college football, he's never had that talented receiver.
Yeah.
But his ability to do what he does with the tight ends, what he is able to do when he does have a good receiver, but also with the run game entirely, especially with just mobile quarterbacks or dual threats, he was able to make the run game work for Ohio State and combine it with Day's passing game. And guess what? It became such a great offense too. Like I know in the regular season, it kind of because they were trying to figure each other out because we had a bunch of new pieces, especially at quarterback. So it's like you had to try to figure some stuff out on offense, and it did work out until injuries hit. And then once
Yeah.
the playoffs started, they just took off like no tomorrow, and you saw what that offense was and what it should be. When I look at Arthur Smith, I see the same thing because, like I said, his offenses are very similar to Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and where all them get their offense from? Chip Kelly.
It's a
Chip
lot of
Kelly,
it's a lot of mixed direction. I agree with that. It's a lot of mixed direction,
which is needed.
which is needed. I first and foremost from Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. I love watching Sean McVay as an offensive mind. And we could take it back when he had Jared Goff, and that was when I really got to see Sean McVay and the misdirections he used to have, and the way his tight ends used to move. Okay, you're gonna go here, but you're really gonna go here to block. And I'm just like, oh my god! As me as a defensive coordinator, I don't know where you're going, and I think you get some of that. You get like Kyle Shanahan still does it. I don't want to. I know I get it. Brock Purdy, the only reason he's good is because he's a part of Kyle Shanahan
I mean,
system.
it's true though, because I mean,
He's
if you can make a quarterback that good being part of your offense, it says something.
it does, but and that shows how good Kyle Shanahan's offense is. Like that shows how good his mind is. Matt LaFleur, we saw with Aaron Rodgers, even before times got a little tough, he was having it in a certain type of way, and then Jordan Love kind of just took the ball and just kept it rolling. Then you brought in a running back that fits the mind that Matt LaFleur has. So Arthur Smith is going to come in and he's going to make an impact quick. It's not going to be something that's going to take time. He's going to come in quick. And because this is what Ohio State does. Ohio State is that team. They lick their wounds and they keep going. Like we're not looking at, okay, we didn't win this game. Like, no, we're gonna go back and we're gonna see what we did wrong and we're gonna get back at it. Like that's who Ryan Day is. That's the coach he's always been when it comes to this team.
Oh yeah, and that's actually the one thing why I loved about Ryan Day. Like I know a lot of people were scared about the whole transporter stuff, but there's been news that came out about that showing that yeah, some of these kids is probably better than most of them left because some got themselves in trouble.
Mhm.
And then they refused to accept punishment, so it's like you could just up and leave, and Ryan Day wouldn't care because
Yeah.
it's like you gotta accept punishment. You do something wrong, you do something stupid, punishment gonna happen. That's life.
And
It is.
and you look at and it's
And
it's crazy how you just Colorado it's crazy from outside of who Dion is, but he holds people accountable.
yes,
Outside of the pro, he holds his team accountable.
yeah. Say
And
whatever you
that,
want about Dion. That man will hold his team accountable. He's
yeah,
been doing that from the very beginning. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
you can hate his personality, how arrogant he is, but respect the fact that this man holds his team accountable at
he
all
cares.
times.
And he cares about each of his kids because
Mhm.
he doesn't see it as like, okay, y'all can go to the draft, y'all can go to the NFL. What are you doing right now? Are you going to class? Are you keeping your grades up? Are you being respectful to your teacher? Like, I'm holding you accountable now to who you are and what kind of person you want to be. And
And that's exactly what Ryan Day does.
yeah,
And a few, like, there's not many coaches who do that. When you look at today's coach, like, the only other coach I could look at and say who possibly would do that, I would believe would be Steve Sarkisian in the SEC
yeah.
at Texas. Like, he's the only one I would look at and say, yeah, he actually will do that. And then a previous one that went to Auburn is Alex Golish, who actually was here at Ohio State. He's a graduate from here, and he's now went to Auburn after his stint at USF, and he has the same thinking as well. These are the only set of coaches you look at when you have coaches that hold you accountable. That matters. And like, even though that the NFL is full of grown men, you think those coaches care? They will hold you accountable for doing stupid stuff. Same with the
and
people
and you
above
saw
them.
it, and you did see that. You saw it this season with Jalen Carter. I think the first game of the season he missed a drive, and everyone was like, "What did Jalen Carter? Why is he not playing?" He missed the flight. He missed the flight. I don't when you don't show up, that I'm making note of everything you don't do. If you miss a block, if you don't fully run in practice, I'm taking all these mental notes because at the end of the day, you're being paid to be here. I'm being paid to coach you. So I'm going to put the best possible lineup out there that I believe is to help us win, not to just know that I'm getting a $50 million deal so I can just kind of walk through because I know I'm going to play. Like
Oh yeah.
Miles Garrett doesn't take plays off. He doesn't take plays off. No matter what the situation is, he doesn't take plays off. Aaron Donald was another big one. He doesn't take plays off.
Never did. One of the all-time greats at D-line too, with Aaron Donald, who you talk about.
Yeah.
Not just him, but also like look at the Bosas, for instance. Like
Oh
those
yeah.
guys are still top tier dudes in the NFL, and they don't ever take plays off. The only time you see them miss time is if they're legitimately hurt, which
Yeah.
typically has been the case.
And
Or
and and losing Nick Bosa for San Francisco, that was a big hit for them. And Fred
yeah,
Warner was another big one. At his age, still feels like he's in his prime.
yeah.
Never took a moment off. Richard Sherman, he's a player. He will talk. He will tell you how he
Talk his
feels about you.
trash.
He will do it, but he keeps himself accountable. If like he will not have you be the butt of his joke.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I do love this Arthur Smith hire, because he was the same way at Tennessee. He was the same way at Pittsburgh. He was the same way during his time as head coach of Atlanta. Is he didn't tolerate the nonsense, which is why when I look at this hire and what this offense is going to be looking like, I'm like, he's going to be on these guys' behind, just like Matt Patricia is, just like all the other coaches are, because they don't tolerate that nonsense. Like their whole thing is, you're going to work to get playing time. You're going to work to do your job. Now, if you do something stupid, you're going to get punished. Like, for instance, I know for Ohio State fans, we were concerned about, like, Monty Graham, like, why he was leaving. But the reality was, what we ended up finding out is he wasn't going to his classes like he
Yeah.
was supposed to. And he ended up, like, skipping classes, being immature up in the head. So when he transferred, and people thought, like, I was like, I don't care if he transfers. It's like, he needs to grow the heck up.
Yeah.
That's his problem. Like, he needs to grow up, which is why I'm not upset about losing him. Like, yeah, he could be Notre Dame's headache regarding growing up, but like, he's not going to be our headache. Like, he's got to learn to grow up, accept responsibility, and accept consequences when it happens. Because you think it's going to be like, I get in the NFL, you're probably not going to have to worry about classes as much, but every decision you make in the NFL by the executives that are going to be part of the that are part of the franchise you're drafted to, or by Roger Goodell, who's the president of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If you do anything stupid, you are going to get punished. Like, for instance, they have players like Jamison Williams who took a bet when he wasn't supposed to, when he knew it was against the rules.
Yeah.
They punished him and suspended him from playing for, like, I think it was 5 games. So, yeah, no, if you really believe that consequences don't follow, something's wrong with you. And this is pretty much why I love this hire as well, because it's like you have another NFL presence there, and it's somebody who I think could get along with recruits,
Yeah.
but also somebody who will tell these recruits, listen, when you come in here, we good right now, but once you come here to Ohio State, I'm finna be on you like no tomorrow, because I'm not getting paid to let you just waltz off and think you're finna get a whole big ton of money when you haven't earned it. No, you're gonna earn your money from NIL that you're making. You're going to earn that. You're going to be pushed hard. And if you do anything stupid, you're going to get punished for it. Accept that fact. Because guess what? In the NFL, there are consequences for everything.
Yeah.
How you play on the field, the effort you give, how much time you take plays off. Like, if you never take a play off and you do your job the way you're supposed to, you will get a chance. You will get playing time. But if you take it plays off, if you lazily, you're not going to play. You're not going to see the field. That's just how it works.
I think, and I love this from a football. I was just talking about this the other day because I feel like we're losing the fact of why you started this journey in the first place.
Yes.
I think players are like, oh, I'm getting your money. I'm doing this. I'm like, I can live this. Why did you start playing football in the first place? Because when you were 10 playing Pee Wee, you weren't getting paid. There was no money involved in your journey. You were doing it for the love of the game, for the fun of the game, for the fun of being there with your teammates, for the fun of winning games or losing. But you were there because of the fact you got to learn. You got to experience something. You got to fuel yourself. We're losing track of that because you have a lot of players that feel the same way, that are like, I don't need to go to class. I'm number one ranked. I'm going to the league. I don't need to go to class. What's class for? Because you still have to have a GPA to play. You still need to have a certain amount of grades to play. Like, that still means something. Take away your ranking. Because if you get to play against a team like Indiana, like Oregon, like Illinois, and you don't do anything, then what's the point of you saying you're first ranked anything?
That's, I think, the problem right there. And you know what's funny is I think it starts with these agents and their families. Because now some of these kids, I understand they need the money to try to get their parents out of bad situations. That would be
Yeah.
their whole purpose. I understand that. But for most of these kids, it's kids like now Legend Bay, who's currently committed to Ohio State. He always wanted to go here, but his brother and his mother have been trying to force him to go to Tennessee because they want Tennessee's money.
Yeah.
Another issue of this would be what happened with Nico during his time at Tennessee, where like, dude, they gave you $8 million, and yet you still
Yeah,
kind of out here
and
ask for more because his agent like kept trying to force this. Same with
but
his
but
folks.
the crazy thing about Nico in Tennessee, you didn't put up $8 million numbers to ask for more money.
That's the point.
And
That's the
that's
problem.
why it was so hard when he left. He was like, I want this amount of money. Schools are like, wait a minute, hold on. You didn't even give the numbers nor the wins for which to give you this type of money. UCLA, no offense, was desperate. They needed a quarterback. They
Mm-hmm.
needed somebody in that positional role. So they're like, we got to give you something. We need you. Just to see what UCLA did this year with him. He's not worth the investment yet. Can he be worth the investment? I hope so.
I think he could. He's got
But
talent.
he has to first realize here's where I am. This is where I am as a player, as an athlete. This is where I am. For me to get to where I can make impacts, I have to learn certain things. His decision making has to get better. His reading has to get better. Him him going through each point of where you're going here, you're going here, you're going like he has to get better at reading the defense and knowing where people are going to be. UCLA had a lot of chances to win games last year, and they didn't take those opportunities because they don't have a quarterback that knows everything he needs to know yet.
I
Can he
will
do
say
it?
this: he did end up winning some games, like the Penn State game and a couple other games that they ended up winning. But the problem is not only. But you also have to remember they fired their head coach, so they
Yeah.
didn't really have a great coaching staff.
They fired their head coach at the start of the season. He was a big him and when James Franklin got fired, I was taken back. I did not understand what Penn State was doing with that firing.
I think they
When
got tired because they expected him to be a national title contender, and look how many games they lost.
Yeah. But you
That's
gotta
not.
also take into the fact Drew Allen went out. He got injured and hurt not at the start of their season. Like everything changed for that Penn State team. But I know it was they were built off their defense. That was another big thing that Penn State did that was really well grounded. So it was like they got hit with
Except the
so much.
defense didn't even play well either.
Yeah.
They
So
didn't play that well.
he got hit with so much stuff. So it's like we got to make a decision. So we got to get some guys out. UCLA they started off bad. I think they fired their coach. They were like 0-6. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't great. So they had to get rid of their coach. And also they looked at we're paying this quarterback here a lot of money and we're not getting any wins. We got to get a quarterback in. We got to get a coach in that can make him look good where we can start winning some games.
yep.
So it all plays into a role here. It all plays. But I agree with you. I agree that you have a lot of people that are in their ear, and we can bring this to NBA terms. Ace Bailey, when he first came out of Rutgers, third pick was supposed to be a top third pick. He stopped taking meetings because his agent said, "You don't need to go to this team. You don't need to go to this team." He stopped taking meetings. He started talking about teams, saying, "Well, if I'm not going to Philly, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Utah. Utah's a bad city, bad location." Like it, his the way he was looked at changed for a lot of GMs, for a lot of coaches. It's
Mhm.
like, well, it looks like you're uncoachable. And he's not uncoachable. If you talk to the Rutgers coach, oh no, Ace Bailey was great. He was cool. He was always there. He was on like he did what he had to do. His agent now is making him look like a bad case, which is not the case because he's looking at, well, we got to get you paid. We got to get you this. No, you need to give him a team that can develop him and work with him. And I think he's gonna do. I think he's doing fine in Utah. I think Utah was a great team. I think it all played out how it was supposed to. But these these agents are messing with some of these young kids when it comes to where they're supposed to be, because you're trying to make them seem like they're not. Shador, same way. Shador was too cocky in a lot of his like pre-draft interviews, especially with
Caleb
a lot
Williams.
of teams.
Caleb Williams.
what
Well,
was
actually, you were talking about cocky. Like I thought Caleb was
What
worse
what
because he
was
like, my God.
wait, because it was so funny. I saw a post like when the year he got drafted. They drafted a punter, and he was like, "I just want you to know you're not going to be punting a lot this season." He punted every single game. Like Caleb, you got to look at where you are. Like you number one pick, I get it. Everybody was fighting over you, I get it. But when it now this season, whole other Caleb Williams, whole
In
nother,
a way, because I actually give the credit to Ben Johnson because of
I
how he
do
was
too.
able to, because of how he was able to make the game so much easier for Caleb in
Yeah,
a sense. And I see it. You know what's funny is when it comes down to Caleb, I still don't think he's a good quarterback. But Ben Johnson this year had helped him look better than he actually is.
I agree that Caleb was still the second. It was certain throws he's made that I was still like, there's old Caleb right
Oh
there.
no, he's still gonna make those throws because
Oh
now
yeah,
I
no,
think he's gonna get over
because
because
he still has to improve. He still has to improve. Now,
he also has to be
from the
more
quarter,
mature.
yeah, from the coach we had last year, the no taking timeouts, and it's the fourth quarter with 20 seconds to go. I don't. Yeah, he needed to go. He needed to go. Ben Johnson has changed the landscape of how this team is. I think they I think they are too many fourth down team and not taking their points. I need them to kind of get out of that. But Caleb has looked better. But I think you're right. It's the maturity level, especially from a quarterback that is still trying to understand where he leads. Because you have to be the leader. You're the leader of this team. You have to be. So
Yeah,
it
because I
does.
would say he's not the leader. I think it's DJ Moore. And I think it's all the other veterans who've been there, but they're looking to the quarterback. Because if you're in a situation where you're expecting him to lead you
Yeah.
in a scenario, that's where he's not. And that's where his problem is
And that's where Ben is going to work with him a lot this offseason,
mm-hmm,
especially with just knowing how to lead the offense, how to make guys play for them.
mm-hmm.
And I for the first time, and I was so happy to see it. I remember he threw a pick during the divisional game.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time I seen him upset and angry. I see him like, and I was like, okay, he's learning. He's getting how this feels of being able to take that, get out of his mind and say, okay, let's go back and let's do it again. Like
Yeah.
let's figure this out. So I was so happy to see that because it's like you're not taking this lightly and you shouldn't be.
And that's actually why I love, again, this is the other reason as to why I love like the Arthur Smith thing, because it's like they will tell these kids, and look, with Ohio State, they are not immune to this either, because you have a lot of these kids who transfer because their agents got in their ear talking about money. Now, one former Buckeye by the name of Obuko, I think his name was, put
Mhm.
out like a social media video like a couple years ago, and he said, I regret transferring from Ohio State. I regret letting these people get in my ear. I should not have tried to take my money. I should have stayed where I was at, learn, mature. And I think that's what it. And I've noticed this because Eric said that he will try to come up with a percentage as to how many Buckeyes before like their senior year. I have no problem if you transfer because guess what? You've been passed over. I ain't got no problem with that. You should leave because guess what? You've been passed over. But your freshman and your sophomore year, which is where
Yeah.
majority of these transfers happen, you basically just transfer before your junior year. You
Yeah.
transfer your sophomore and your freshman.
And you transferred during a time period where this was the most time for you to learn. Your freshman and your sophomore year is where you're going to learn everything there is about college football in general, but most importantly about how your coaches want you to be. You coming in as like I transfer my sophomore year going to a junior. Your coach is not going to pity you. Like he's not going to
No,
be spoon feeding you stuff. Like no, you're a junior now. You should know this. I should be able to give you my playbook, and you should just say, "Okay, coach, I got it. Let's go. Let's do it."
and that's where the problem is for a lot of these kids because I think like because Erica said it, if you leave before your sophomore year, you're not fully developed yet. Like
No,
if you like you really haven't been. Your
no,
junior year is where you should be more developed. Your junior year is where you should be staying for 3 years. Now, if you feel like by that point that you should leave, okay, sure. But it's like for the number of kids that I have seen that have left Ohio State as freshmen and sophomores and went to another school as juniors and seniors, their careers never really worked out.
yeah,
That it's like it looks like it could be higher than what I thought it was, but like that's what I've seen thus far. Like
but
there's only
yeah,
and again the only transfers that we've seen be successful are the guys who transferred by their senior year. Guys like a Joe Burrow who transferred in
Yeah,
his senior year. You have Zen McCaskey who was at Indiana. He
yeah.
transferred
And
there for his senior year.
Jaden McDaniels was another big one when he transferred
Yeah.
out, and they were
Bo
like, "Nah,
Nix.
you're gonna be trash anyway. Where you going? You're gonna be trash anyway." And he went to LSU
Yep.
and did what he was supposed to do.
Bo
So
Nix. You got
yeah,
Bo Nix,
Bo
Michael
Nix
Penix.
is great. Michael Penix went to Washington, dominated. Like, but they had the time, but they also looked at it as y'all don't want me here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna go
Whereas
somewhere.
whereas Ohio State or some of these other schools, like Ohio State with these kids that transferred, they wanted you here. But you
Yeah,
need to learn because they're
yeah,
like, and I can understand why Ryan Day's so hesitant to put the sophomores in because they make a ton of mistakes in a
yeah,
ways. And look, we've said it. Like, look, let them make the mistakes. Let them learn from it. Like, we understand
yeah.
why
I
because we need the depth, but we need the depth to be developed by their junior year fully by having
yeah.
on the field experience so they can fully
Just
understand.
it's so funny. Like when you're just like when you're in high school and like your mom is arguing with the coach, like my son doesn't play. If he doesn't play, he's not gonna learn. And it's just like I don't trust your son in certain things, but
Yeah.
you still got to teach him. Like I still have to be able to learn in real game situations because it will come a time where I have to be. It will come a time where I'll be your only option. And if I haven't touched the field, how can I be prepared? Just like Josh
Yeah,
said.
well, good thing
Yeah,
is Ryan Day did start kind of doing that around like
yeah,
2024 when we won the Natty. He did do that in 2024. He was doing it in 2025 a little more, but he still was like, yeah, y'all got some stuff y'all need to fix. And then in certain situations, like I said, with Mylan Graham, he had a chance. And it's like, bro, you haven't been going to classes. You haven't made the most of the opportunities that have been given to you. Like the
yeah,
thing is, I think what Ryan Day expects these guys to do, like I think he expects them to make mistakes, but the problem he's having is like, are you guys even taking advantage of the opportunities that's being given to you? Like for instance, the freshman Devin Sanchez, he's been taking advantages of the opportunities. Now he's made a bunch of mistakes because he's a freshman. That
yeah.
makes sense.
He's coming
But
in.
it's like he's taking advantage of the opportunity and he's gonna learn a little bit more. Or you look at Bo Jackson, who, despite our run game not being as creative or as great as it looked, he still had over 1,000 yards, and he was actually doing really, really well. He was learning on the football field. He took
Yeah,
advantage of the opportunities that was given to him. Same with Isaiah West. Same with a couple other freshmen that we've had on the football field. Like these guys are taking advantage of their opportunities, where some of you really weren't. Like y'all need to take advantage, and if you do something stupid off the field, expect to be punished. Like, don't leave because otherwise. Or here's what you need to do: listen to that guy Buko who left Ohio State before his junior year, before anything, and understand that you will live to regret this if you leave too soon because you're not fully developed yet. You need to be able to. You need to be willing to sit and learn. And when you have the opportunity to get on that field, take advantage of it. Like, yeah, you're gonna make mistakes, which we fully expect, but show us that you're taking advantage. Show us that you're not taking plays off. At least
hmm.
show us that. That's what some of these players weren't doing.
When you get in the midst of ex NFL coaches that have done this ride before, that know what it takes for fresh like guys that are just coming into their rookie seasons, and you seeing it as first of all, it's for a school like Ohio State. Playing for them is not something that happens every day. That is a privilege. Not everybody makes it on to an NCAA Division One team as big as a Big Ten school like Ohio State. Those are opportunities that should not be wasted.
Exactly.
So
Or back when Bama was under Saban, like, man, if you got the opportunity to play for Saban at
if
Alabama,
you
brother.
if you got the opportunity to play for Nick Saban, if you got the opportunity to play in LSU, those were not opportunities that were just taken by anybody. I know we look at it now and we see it as different. Those were schools that was the hardest to get into. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Auburn used to be fairy tales. You weren't getting into Auburn off
I
of a
mean,
month.
Georgia became that school
Yeah,
by a couple years under Kirby Smart, and they ended up becoming that school where they weren't easy. Like you had to earn your place
Ole
to get on the
Miss,
Kirby
but no,
Smart
no,
teams.
Clemson. Oh my goodness,
Whew.
it was not a question. If you anything you did that could have ruined Clemson's reputation wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
We were holding. It was no such thing as you going to Clemson and taking anything off.
No. You could not do that any honestly, it's still the same way at Ohio State. Like they
Yeah,
understand that some of these kids may end up leaving, but there's like, no, understand, like you can't take plays off. You can't just expect to come here and
it's
get things. Especially with player, especially with NIL and these businesses, because understand these businesses are putting money into you, investment. Like if you're not
yeah.
giving them what they're investing in, what is the point? Like they're not gonna pay you no more.
I agree. I still hold Ohio State to what I've always held Ohio State to is that
Hmm.
they are to build you and get you to the next level. If you are willing to put in the work and to listen. As a freshman, you're just seeing all this for the first time. You're getting overwhelmed by the crowd, by the experiences, by the walkout, you get by the fireworks, by the everything. Because
Hmm.
Saturday football in Ohio State is a different type of feel. You are going to get overwhelmed, but as you learn, as you start to get the noise levels around, and you're like, okay, I can do my job. I can learn from this coach that has seen a bunch of guys go off and do what he can do for me. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a great example. I know he had a little bit of a sophomore slump this season, but Marvin Harrison is going to be a top guy in Arizona as time will go on. As he learns in the NFL, he's going to be that guy, and that's going to be because of the teachings that he's learned at Ohio State.
As a matter of fact, I think his sophomore year went better than even his rookie year. It's just that if he didn't get hurt a lot,
Yeah.
and if the play calling was a little better, I think he would have actually had a 1,000-yard season because he came close last year. He was at 882 yards. Like
Yeah,
you
and
give him
he
a
had
couple
a
more yards, he would have had 1,000
and
yards.
he had a great start to the year. I think it was just like with Washington with the Commanders. Jalen, the injuries came, and that just
Yeah.
kind of ruined his. I think that ruined his confidence part a little bit too. But overall,
Or
as
you could look at another receiver like JSN. I mean, look at the season he done had. His
oh,
rookie
and
season.
and I wanted to talk about that because today is their championship game in a little bit.
Hmm.
He is become a big part of Seattle's offense. And Sam Darnold has done a great job of getting him involved. Even outside of just the passing, his blocking ability, his change of direction, his traffic, the catch in traffic is amazing. Like that kid is good. So I think Seattle has built something, and it's gonna be with him at the helm of that. Um, of course, I'm I hope. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna hurt some people. I do hope they lose today. I do hope they lose today. I am a Rams fan, guys. I'm sorry. I
Well,
apologize.
the Rams do got some former Buckeyes on their team, so it's like
Yes,
hard to pick.
and we're just trying. We're just hoping. We're just trying today. We're just trying, guys. But I really like the way Seattle plays from the offensive standpoint. With him at him because he had an incredible season. He
Hmm.
had an incredible season.
Historical season,
He
actually.
had and especially for Seattle. Yeah, man. I think it took the development. Of course, it took some development, but it's going to take development for certain guys. But he's definitely come out as a superstar that
Yeah.
they did.
Honestly, when you go back and look at it, like his rookie year, he wasn't used a lot, and
Yeah,
I've explained this as he could have been used more if the Seattle Seahawks offensive line wasn't so garbage. So the
yeah,
offensive coordinator had to scheme around that a lot and had to use him in certain aspects, but he
yeah.
still used him. I mean, one of the best plays I have seen during his rookie year was a reminiscence of what happened in the Utah game in
Mm.
the Rose Bowl. That was so funny. I was like, he made the exact same freaking catch that he made in the Rose Bowl. I was like, that's hilarious. That was actually the best I've seen of him. And then his second year, he not only got better, his numbers exploded. And then
Yeah.
this year, his third year in the NFL, he just has a historical season where he's the best receiver in the NFL. And
Hmm.
it's like, that's what you're talking about when
It
you
was
go
it was
as a receiver.
between. I know it's between him. Puka had a great season too. Um, and I think it was
You
yeah.
know what's super funny to me? Is
Mhm.
Justin Jefferson had the worst season of his career.
And you oh my god, it was like I don't think he caught a touchdown until like week 10, like like it was really long. But they were
Poor quarterback play.
yeah, it was poor quarterback play on JJ
Poor
McCarthy. And then it was and then when he didn't
McHandoff.
yeah, and then when he didn't play, I forgot who their backup was. But
Yeah,
it
I don't
was
remember
he
either.
was he was going through so many quarterbacks, and then it was like Justin wasn't even being used. It was more Addison that was being used even anyway. Like I'm like, you have Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson on your team. I don't know what Justin's gonna do aside from like where he sees Minnesota right now because they've been through so much.
They've had opportunities before, but then like injuries and stupid stuff been
Yeah,
happening with
and
them.
they just lost Harrison Smith. He just said he's gonna retire. This is last season, and then um they lose so many defensive guys.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a lot of what if questions for Minnesota right now, and I hope they can answer them. I hope they can figure that out.
Yeah, I hope they can as well. Cause like I said, like Justin Jefferson, I've said it before. It's like, brother, like I felt so bad for him. I was like, that's what you
Mhm.
get with Mick Handoff. Like he was never a good quarterback. He was never a good passer to me, and it
Yeah,
just showed off. I was like, this dude destined to hold a clipboard.
he showed signs of like he showed points where he was really good, but this is also a quarterback that did not play his rookie season at all. This was his first time actually being on the field
And
all the season.
I was hoping that he would at least show me to be better. Because even with the rookies, like a Shador Sanders, who didn't even start the year
And
off as a
Shador
starting
and Shador
quarterback.
ended the year very strong. He
Yeah.
ended the year very strong.
Yeah, I was at least expecting that in JJ McCarthy. Like, look,
Yeah.
if Shador didn't start, but he came in, he started off pretty solid, and then he finishes the year super strong. I would
Yeah.
expect that from you when you've
He's
been
he
playing all
finished
year.
off. He finished off really strong. And then the conversation I saw with that was because I was talking to one of the people and he was like, well, Cleveland's got to figure out their quarterback situation. No, they don't. Shador is starting for the beginning of the season. It's like, well, Deshaun's coming back. Who cares about Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun is not coming back, but he's not going to be the starting
Who
quarterback.
cares about Deshaun? Shador is who you need to have at the helm. That's why they got rid of the coach in the first place, who decided, well, no, we're going to start Joe Flacco. Then we're going to start Gabriel Daniel. Shador has been here and he's been waiting for his moment.
Yeah.
Let him
And I
have
can
it.
understand with Joe Flacco because Flacco had he's always been the quarterback that
Yeah, no.
every team goes to.
I in the
But
beginning,
yeah, no, like in the beginning, I can understand that, but
I
it's
can
like,
understand that completely.
yeah, but it's like Shador's got to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future and moving forward because I think he
Oh
is a
yeah.
good quarterback for the Browns for no doubt. They just need to get him weapons. Like you got him Quinshawn Junkins and another running back
Yeah.
behind the both of them as well. Like now you got a run game that's there. Can you get him some receivers?
Shador is going to start the offseason getting his arm together, getting his like learning where to hit certain things on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go through all of those different things, but it's going to work out when the season starts for him next season because he's going to be the starting quarterback in Cleveland.
Oh,
Now
no
they
doubt.
have to go through a bunch of guys to get here. They have to go to Baker, Tyrod, Johnny Manziel, money two times, but he's the guy. He's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
I would say that too. Even though you could ask my former co-host, who still is my co-host of the Buckeye Lounge, that'll be moving to the Patreon. But you could ask Sean because he's a Browns fan. Chris, he's a Browns fan. Like they are so angry with their team, and I'm like, Shador actually might be a good quarterback for you guys. And look,
Yeah,
I know a lot of people were upset about Baker Mayfield, but I was like, Baker was actually a good quarterback for y'all.
Baker.
Y'all almost made it to the AFC title game if it wasn't for your running back fumbling the ball against Kansas City. So like, if it wasn't
But
for that.
no, and then Patrick Mahomes goes out, and then they let the backup quarterback get a 15-yard gain for the first down to send the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It was those little miscues
Those are
that
miscues as
cost.
well. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying, like, I never blame Baker. And look, that one
yeah.
year where he came back, like, I know the following year, he ended up playing through a whole shoulder injury he suffered, and
Yeah.
he didn't look the same.
They,
And I get it, but it's like,
I
he
think
was good.
one of the best games I saw out of Baker was that first game he got in. I think Tyron had went out and
Mhm.
Baker had brought that comeback, and I was like, he's been y'all quarterback for the longest. I think that y'all weren't ready for it, but Baker had opportunity. Then you brought him Beckham Jr., and I thought that was about to be the
I didn't
definite.
think so. I was like, to me, because, like, Odell had a 4-year peak, and then after that, it was like, ooh, he was not the same.
Really, when he got to LA, I think I saw peaks of the old Beckham. I
Yeah, you
saw what
see peaks, but it's like, he
Yeah,
wasn't the old Beckham he used to be.
I saw what you saw in Miami. When he was with Javis, and how that two duo was supposed to work.
Yeah.
He's been moved around so much.
You,
But
you know what's super funny is like I go back and I look at like all these NFL teams and I look at like all these college football teams and you know the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know, college football should try to model what the NFL does regarding like the structure of their NIL deals. I actually came up with
yeah,
like a whole little thing because last time you and I had talked about it and over the phone. And one thing I had came up with was like not only having a NIL salary cap where
yeah,
the foundation, like the NIL collectives are the ones who will pay these kids their NIL money, and that's where the salary cap will go. But it's not just that. If you want to get these kids even more money, get them NIL advertisement deals. Which what is that?
yeah.
It's basically like NIL advertisement is where these businesses pay these kids. Like it won't affect the
Mhm.
salary cap at all. It's separate in every facet, but it allows these kids to go out, get advertisement deals for certain products and brands of big time businesses. Like I said, you look in Columbus, you look in Texas, honestly, across Texas, Oklahoma, even
Yeah,
in Tennessee, because they got like a really rich NIL firm.
yeah,
They have brands across, even across all up in the north. Like you have these big brands up here in the north in the Big Ten across all these teams, and they have big time companies that would be willing to pay these kids if you want it. Like they could give them some NIL like advertisement deals to sell their products, to do signings for certain things,
yeah.
which I think should be the structure of how you could do that, where you have a salary cap for the regular NIL, but these kids can still go off and make money without affecting the salary cap by going through advertisement deals with NIL. Name, image, and likeness, that's what it should.
I th- I agree. I think that I like the structure, especially how you give a certain calorie cap worth of money, but you can also go and get endorsement deals outside of that and make your own money that way too. I
Yeah.
think we're still trying to understand NIL also, because I think
Well,
it
yeah.
it still feels new, where it's not new, but it still feels new. Where like I think players are still trying to understand, like, so how does it work of me getting paid? Like, how what can I do and what can I not do? But I think if you, I agree with you. If you go through like advertising, like companies that know, like, hey, listen, we want to put you on this, we want to put you on a billboard, we want you to start wearing this particular type of. Because I remember when Shador signed with Nike, like half of his stuff was Nike branded, so it was like he was getting stuff from Nike to wear on the field. Like, hey,
Hmm.
wear this arm sleeve. So I think it works the same way. Just as like um it was some interesting ones. It's always some interesting
I know
ideas.
there's Chris Henry Jr., who's the wide receiver commit, who's coming to Ohio State. He actually ended up getting an advertisement deal for, I think it was Adidas.
Yeah.
So during his time in high school, so it's like that's something that you can do as well. Like you can get those type of. That's why I say it like wait, but as Chris, myself, and Eric talked about on the last show, the Thursday night show,
Hmm.
is they I don't think they want to figure this out. Mainly the NCAA. Like I think they want this to just burn to the ground because they're like, well, y'all wanted it, so it's like, hey, look, y'all wanted it, y'all sued us, y'all want all this,
I
y'all
think they
problem.
I think they kind of see NIL as like, hey, it's not our problem if you figure it out or not, or if you figure out if you want this money or not. Like, figure it out your own. Like, we're just gonna let you do what you want to do. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's fine, I guess. But like, that's also where I feel like here's where an agent's supposed to step in. And this is kind of the situations of like showing him what makes sense and how we can use this money and how you can use your image and likeness to make you money without taking you away from a school, without taking you away from like doing what you need to do, but like showing you ways of like, hey, it's this company that wants to use you and they think that you're a really good fit for what they're trying to sell. Let's do
You know
this.
what's funny is like these agents know that they can make more money with this NIL. Like they could take more of these kids' money from NIL than they could
Yeah.
take from the NFL. So that's why they do that because they want these kids to get bigger money so they can get more money in their pocket.
Yeah,
They don't care about these kids. Same
and
with the families. Most of these families, anyway. Not all the families, but most of them. Like they don't care. They're like, give us the money. Like we want it.
show me the money. Who cares about NFL? What? Show me the money now. Where's that Hummer you promised me? I want the Hummer.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like that's where most of these agents are, and that's what I'm saying. You need to have the structure where the agents could get at least 10% of what these kids make, but also by having the structure in place,
Yeah.
you are able to protect these kids from getting taken advantage of. Because now these families, they can't just go out asking for big money when you have a salary cap like the NFL does. Like the NFL
Yeah.
has a salary cap, that's what college football should have. You should have a similar salary cap to the NFL. That's the type of salary cap you should have for everybody that's on your roster.
And I think that would definitely work
Yeah.
out good
And
because
like I said, they could get money off of advertisement deals on top of that. So it's not like the money just stops with you here at with just the NIL stuff. You can get with just the regular NIL, at least you can get the
yeah.
NIL advertisement deals that can help you make more money put into your account. And like players like Ryan, not players, but like coaches like Ryan Day, Deion Sanders, and them are
Yeah.
trying to teach these kids how to invest so they can make money not just in football, but help them make money with life after football, which is the
Yeah.
other thing too. Like you need that. Like your family's talking about getting money now. It's like, hey, dummies, how about help them get money for the future because you're really destroying them.
And
Like short term, this is great, but long term, you're going to destroy them.
and Jameis Winston did an interview and I was listening to, and he said the one thing I regret doing was that I was making so much money and I was giving it all away. Because I would have friends that be like, "Hey man, I need to do this," or my family would be like, "Hey, I need to pay for this," or "This needs to happen." And it was like I was spending so much money and I was not using like the money I had. Like I wasn't spending it the right way. I wasn't doing what I should have been doing to like help myself to gain more money. And it's like you're gonna get hit with people. There's gonna be so many people that's gonna ask you for stuff. That's going to ask you for things. Even now that you in college, now that you a top pick, and you're making NIL money, your family's gonna want money from you now. They're gonna want you to start chipping in on certain things. But if you can learn to invest certain things and first into yourself and your career, because if you're gonna be the top, probably the best high school player of all time.
Yeah.
You might not be NFL ready, but you're gonna be a great college player. So you're gonna be getting money to do a lot of college stuff.
Which might be changing at some point too, because we talked about this as well on the
Mhm.
roundtable on Thursday, which was really we did it during Patreon actually, because Thursday we actually did a interview with the Duke person, with somebody who's an attorney who knows about the whole situation with Duke and Mensa, one of the players who's trying to leave.
Mhm.
But on Patreon we talked about this and we said that how this could not only affect Ohio State but college football is you may start seeing teams not pay, like it may end up ruining like what's going on with these kids now. It might end up ruining high school recruiting, where these people are not going to care if you're a 5-star. They're not going to care if you're a 4-star.
I don't.
Like here's what I mean by that is like for Ohio State, I don't expect them to go after, like I think they made it pretty clear from a plan they put in place. They're not going to go after just any 5-star anymore. What their whole plan is, we're going to go into the portal and get guys who can be part of the 2 deep, who fit this culture. And the only 5-stars we're going after are the guys who fit this culture, who won't be just here for NIL money. They're going to be here because they want to be a Buckeye. And then the rest of the roster will be filled out by 3-stars, developmental guys who will believe in the long-term plan instead of just going for the quick bat. Like they'll be here for years to come, be developed, and can go to that next level. That's their plan.
Here's what I feel. I don't understand the 5-star, 4-star, 3-star thing anyway. Half of these 5-stars aren't really 5-stars.
Like most cities,
I'm not gonna lie. Only because I'm trying to figure out how do we make the adjustment to say, oh yeah, this is a 5-star guy right here. How? He hasn't played anybody in a high school. Like high school, anybody could be I could be a 5-star.
Yeah, and then you got some of these guys who are like, and then you got some of these guys like, for instance, Jaquan Guilford, the Ohio State wide receiver, who's a 3-star. That ain't no 3-star, bro. How's he a 3-star? What?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like y'all don't know how to do the rankings for some of these players, because some of these players are 3-stars and they really 5-stars. They're really top of their class, but they're not getting looked at because of the ranking they have. Oh, well,
or because of where they are. Because sometimes some of these, because let's be real, most of these recruiting sites really do not pay attention to some of these kids. They really don't.
Yeah,
They really don't.
They look at a list and they're like, oh, okay, he looks cool. And then they go to like a couple games. They're like, okay, cool. And he's like, oh, he didn't play the greatest. That was one game. Did you go to the next game he had? The next
Right.
game, that man dominated. That man was great. Then the
And
then
and guess what? Every great player is gonna have one bad game.
yeah, it's like, oh well, he did this wrong and he did this wrong. The teachable things. These everything you just said was teachable things that can change. Like, I don't understand where the ranking system comes in, where we could say this guy's a 5-star, this guy's a 4, this guy's a 3, this guy's just a 0. He no stars for him, and then it's a half a star for one. Like, where do y'all find this? It's so many kids in the entire city of the United States of America, from Illinois, from Texas, from Ohio, there is a kid in Kentucky that's probably averaging 200 yards in high school, and he's a 0-star. Like, where does the ranking come in? Like, who are y'all looking at?
Like,
That
I couldn't
makes
understand, like, for instance, Chris Henry Jr. and Jeremiah Smith, them two being 5-stars, that made sense. Because when
Yeah,
you
no,
watch the
yeah,
full Stone
no,
high
yeah,
school film, that made a lot of sense. And we just talked about it. Like, we said how, like, as a freshman, you can get overwhelmed. Like, Jeremiah Smith is one of those rare freshmen that you're like, he
yeah.
just he is. He
Kinda,
generational. He's that.
you have some, like Cooper Flag, didn't even know he was a freshman. He didn't show freshman type of
Yeah.
feel when he was at Duke. He came in and went right to work.
So yeah, that's some of those that they end up getting right. It's the rest where it's like it's questionable because the more I see their stuff, I'm like,
as of right now, when you look at Bryce Underwood, you're still trying to see with the 5-star type of, like, where the
like
next
but-
quarterback.
potential I could see.
Yeah,
Like, let's be
potential
realistic. I saw the potential. Like,
Yeah.
Bryce Underwood, and if you go back and look at him, his passing isn't great. He's
No.
got the arm talent, but he's
He
not
does.
accurate. He doesn't have the ability to read the field properly, and he's got a lot of like mechanics that he needs to work.
He
on.
reminds
Like,
me. He reminds me of how Lamar was when he first got into the league, where
Yeah.
he kind of had to develop a lot of his accuracy skills, a lot of his passing. He did it.
It was the same in college too, though. He did have to
Yeah,
develop
because
that.
he really
As
did
he
at
went to the NFL,
Louisville.
better.
He mostly played running back. He was
Because they
kind of
didn't
a
have
running-
anybody else.
Yeah, so he was kind of like, okay, but he could throw on certain occasions. So it's like Bryce has to kind of. It doesn't help that Bryce has to now figure out a new coach and a whole new system. But
I mean, and not really, because I mean, if you ask me about that system, it's not going to develop a quarterback because, like, Kyle Whittingham's system practically fits what Ron Moore did, what Jim Harbaugh did, which is you're just going to run the ball a lot and
Yeah.
you're going to throw every occasion. So I don't think that's going to help him develop. I don't think so. Like, dude, you need to have a healthy balance of run and pass. Their receivers
Yeah,
haven't been good.
I think Michigan has to really assess what they got to do next season. On top of where Bryce Underwood kind of falls and how important he is to your system, because he can be great. I think he can be
Yeah.
a great quarterback for you guys. But now you have to kind of show him how to be that person.
You know, I think if he had went to LSU, I think he would have been better off because I'm like, brother,
I
you
mean,
would have been better off being developed. Like, here's what I mean by that. You would have sat behind Greg Nussmeier, got
Yeah.
redshirt. You would have learned some stuff. You would have been
And-
able to kind of learn the physics. You still would be pretty raw because obviously if you ever start, you're not going to be great. But
Yeah.
you get to learn something.
And
And more
then
importantly, you get development.
the
'Cause
coach
that's
they
where
had-
they're from.
The coach they had, he wasn't bad. I didn't like him that much because
No, like I think Brian Kelly, I don't think he's great, but he did have Jaden Daniels. Whatever people say about that, it's
Yeah.
like, look, Jaden Daniels did get developed under Brian Kelly. Now he was out there kicking his feet up somewhere, but let's be realistic. He would have probably got some better development there. But also now with Lane Kiffin going there, like, look, people say whatever they want about Lane Kiffin.
That's why I say Bryce Underwood would have been okay. He would have been
Like, bro,
fine.
you went to LSU
Oh,
with
man.
Lane Kiffin there. I promise you. You
Yeah.
would be developed as a quarterback. Look at what he did for Jackson Dart. Like, Jackson Dart actually did do good this NFL season.
And you know, when you look at the draft, because everybody was like, New York could have had the quarterback now from Indiana, and I'm like, no, because Jackson Dart has done so much. The injury stuff, it took him out, but
Yeah.
with the and now that he has a Harbro brother, oh, he's about to dominate. He's about to be A-okay.
Yeah. Well, at least he has the right hardball brother that knows how to develop quarterbacks. At least you got that one.
Oh, what you are we trying to say? Justin isn't ready yet. He has.
Nah, Justin, let's be real. Justin has always been there, but it's like Justin to me is a good quarterback. He's not elite. He's not great. He's
I think
he's good.
I think he's another system quarterback.
Yeah, he's a
If you
system
have a
more so.
good system, he can play in it.
But it's like when I'm watching him under Harbaugh's offense, I'm like, did you just get progressively worse, or are you just making more
I
mistakes?
mean, when I saw him play against New England, I think that was the worst I've saw him this season, as in just his develop, like his reading of the options, his passing a bit. Like he was just throwing some stuff I didn't even know could be thrown in an NFL game before. I was like, "Sir, what are you okay? Is it something bothering you?" I think Jackson is going to be a great fit for New York, especially under the coach they have now. That whole team is about to be a lot of run and gun, get to the pace type of team, and that defense is about to get enticingly better.
Oh yeah, that defense was good this year. Their
Yeah.
offense wasn't. Now let's be real, their offense has had some injury problems too. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and say like their offense is perfect because it's like
Hey,
y'all still got pieces y'all need to fix. Like your offensive
Cam,
line needs work. You
Cam
still need
Scatterbo.
more wide receivers outside of Malik Neighbors. And like Cam Scatterbo, I
Yeah.
think he's good. He could be better.
Yeah.
I mean, because I seen him in college. Like the dude has the potential to be a good running back, but it's like
Yeah.
you know,
His strong, his ability, his strength. But now you gotta add some elusiveness to it. Okay,
yes,
we can't just have you be the running back to put your head down and get hit. Nah, let's
unless you want to
add
be a short yardage back.
yeah, let's add you to be one of the strength backs that gets the yardage like a Derrick Henry that can take off, that can make it work for him. Like let's get you to that point. And
Yeah,
he can get to that point. I think
he
that
can.
entire team is a working foundation. I think LSU is a working foundation now that they have a quarterback that believes in the culture, that believes in the system, that can take advantage of the bayou and the deep fried food and actually act like he wants to be at LSU.
Yeah,
You're
and,
going to
and
be fine.
and you know what's even funnier too is like when I kind of think about it with the New York Giants. Like think about the Ravens. Like they just hired Jesse Minter to be their head
Yeah.
coach. How well do you think that's gonna work? Because I don't think it is.
I think Lamar he's going to have a tough time in the beginning. I think they all are. I think they all are going to have a tough time in the beginning because this is a coach that the Baltimore Ravens are accustomed to. This is not a coach Lamar has ever been accustomed to.
Yeah, and
So
if you also ask me too, like I think for the Ravens, it's not just that, but the potential of losing Todd Monken. See, this is why I think the Giants' offense could be really good because Todd Monken is an excellent offense
yeah,
coordinator. He's excellent, and the potential of him going to New York with John Harbaugh. What are you going to do about the offense? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator if he does leave?
yeah, and I
Like,
think it all plays under Jackson. I think whoever, if you can bring in a good QB coach to coach Jackson Dart up to get him to where he needs to be, just like you see with Caleb Williams, who they might be losing their QB coach to Pittsburgh. So
mhm.
it's a lot of movement.
If they, what's funny is if they were losing JT Barrett, former Buckeye quarterback, by the way, buddy. JT Barrett, I think, has kind of helped him in the sense, kind of
He
mature a
has.
little bit more. So if you ask me, like what JT Barrett was able to do with Caleb, yeah, like Pittsburgh is definitely, especially because how much better it is for me is if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be in Pittsburgh anymore. I think Will Howard would be the guy to take the next
And
above anybody, and that would be great for Will Howard to have JT Barrett.
and Mike McCarthy has just been given the Pittsburgh job, which
Yeah,
is very interesting. That was not who I was thinking I was going to get that job.
me either. I found that out and I was like, Mike McCarthy? Now I
Yeah.
get it. Now his time in Dallas wasn't great, but like Dak Prescott, I said it before. This guy has a habit of choking when it matters. like he just choked. Like he's
I
just
I do not disagree with you not one bit. Dak
like
Dak will not help you when it matters.
he's such a bum in the big times. I'm like,
Dak
brother, can you
Dak
show
is
up just
not that
one
guy.
time? Just one time. Just my
So
God.
I think Matt McCarthy does well when he has a defense that is really good that he can build on.
Hmm.
I think from an offensive standpoint, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to have to definitely look for somebody in the draft because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back to that team.
I figured it was
Or
gonna be Will Howard. That's what I figured because it's like because they
yeah,
do. From
I
what I
think
understood too, I think they said they liked Will. His arm, while he might not have the strongest arm, it's not a noodle arm, by the way. Everybody, like the
yeah, yeah,
man can't throw. Don't get it twisted, because everybody didn't think at one point. And he showed you at Ohio State he could throw. He just needs to
yeah.
learn how to be a quarterback in the pocket. That's
And
all he needs.
I think Matt can teach him that. I think,
Yeah.
and I think Will Howard is a good choice. I think Dante Moore messed up a lot of people's boards going back to Oregon.
No, I think he probably did better for himself because when I watch him at Oregon, he makes way too many mistakes. Like, no,
No,
he
I
missed.
and that's why I agree. I understand exactly why he went back to Oregon to learn and develop a little bit more to go back to the draft.
Yeah.
I just think that it shocked a lot of people, especially being ranked a second, that he was like, nope, I got to stay another year.
I think he was smart to do that because it's like, yeah, I could be ranked second, but here's the thing: I know my limitations. Like,
Yeah,
this past season has showed me I got a little bit more to learn. Like, if I'm
and
going to go to the NFL, I've
especially
got to
against
learn.
that blowout win against Indiana, where he just was looking very not himself.
Yeah.
He has work to do now. What this?
Especially with the fact that he tends to crumble under pressure. Like, that's where the problem was. It's like,
Mhm.
I seen it coming because I did a whole notebook where I have weaknesses of every team: offense, defense, strengths and weaknesses. And it's like the biggest weakness for Oregon's offense was their pass blocking had been a question.
Yeah,
But Dante's ability to throw under pressure was a problem, and it had been for a
yeah,
year.
yeah.
And you've seen it in a lot of instances, really. And I said it too. I said with Fernando Mendoza, it was kind of the same way with him. Because if you go back and look at all the games that he played, I'm like, now he can't come back because this is the end for him. Like, he's a senior, he's done.
Fernando Mendoza had a great Heisman winner, no
Yeah,
doubt
he is
about
a
it.
Heisman winner,
National
no doubt.
champion. But I saw the weaknesses in that college football championship game.
But also in the Big Ten title game too, like
Yeah,
when he went up against Ohio State,
yeah.
it's like you
Even
saw those weaknesses there.
even that first hit when he went out and everybody was like, "Oh, he's coming back. He's strong. He's tough. He is." But that only can get him so far.
Yeah, like, brother, in the NFL, you need to be able to, because his inability to, like, kind of understand defenses in
Yeah,
a sense, like how he goes through his reads and progressions,
yeah.
that's something you need to work on.
It
But
has
then,
to get quicker. I think
yeah,
he wastes a little bit too much time hoping that it's gonna. It has to get quicker.
not
Like,
to mention you're gonna have to be able to throw in the tight windows though, because in the NFL, not every
yeah,
window is finna be like everybody not finna run wide open, brother. Like, you got to be able to fit those in the windows,
and
and that was his
and
problem.
that
It's
was
like,
what they said about a former Ohio State, Justin Fields. I think when he got to the NFL, I think his big thing was he couldn't get the balls in tight windows. He was
no, he was actually the best tight window thrower in the NFL. The problem that everybody had with him was his inability to be in the pocket because people think he's just a runner, and people don't think that he could get the ball out of his hands fast enough. Like, that was the big thing. Like, him holding on to the ball too long,
Mhm.
taking sacks when he shouldn't. Like, he could throw the ball into tight windows because he's doing that a lot, especially during his time with the Bears. And he did it during his time at Ohio State. The
Yeah.
problem was his ability to get the ball out of his hands faster. Like, it wasn't that big of a problem at Ohio State, but he had moments where it was like that, and
I
people had pointed that out.
I agree.
But it became more of a problem when he got to the NFL, mainly because of terrible coaching, mainly because of terrible team being put around him. Even now in the NFL, like, the guy has potential. It's always been there. It's just that, can you get the right coach to get
Yeah,
it out of him, like Ryan
and
Day did?
and it sucks because he got benched like halfway through the season. Um, Justin, I think it does come down to coaching. He did have
Especially coaching.
he was working with a defensive coordinator who was just getting the head coaching job.
And
Of
you know what's funny is if he stayed with Pittsburgh, because Arthur Smith really did want him, and I feel like he
Yeah,
fit Arthur Smith's offense. He
I
really
think
was.
he didn't want to sit behind somebody else anymore.
No, I think he was gonna. Yeah, no, that was exactly what it was. Like,
Yeah, he just didn't want to sit behind because if Russell Wilson didn't come back and if they did get Aaron Rodgers, he would have been sitting behind. Like he was just
even
like,
though I do think it would have been good for him to sit behind Aaron Rodgers like he did with
I
Russell Wilson, I
I
do think that
do
was
think it is. I think it would have definitely been great. But I think for Justin, it was like I had just came from a team where I started every single game to now me trying to fight for plays.
and I do believe as well too that, again, I believe the offensive coordinator wanted Justin to be the starter. It was like Mike Tomlin who kind of was a little hesitant because, and I can understand why, because Justin Time had been, even though they understand, because when you look
Mhm.
at what he did in his first 6 games with the Steelers, He was marginally better than what he was with the Chicago
Oh
Bears
yeah,
this
no,
year.
he was. He was definitely
Marginally.
better.
And even here with the Jets, while it didn't work out great because the Jets have some issues they need to work out themselves,
Yeah,
and
they
worse than
they
Pittsburgh,
do.
if you're being
And
honest.
the line wasn't good for him. And I can understand why they feel like Justin has to do better of being able to stand in the pocket. My pocket collapses, guys, like almost every 2 seconds. I
Yeah.
have to run. I have to run. Like
You
I
know, I said
have.
it. If he went to Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, heck, I even said it. If he was in Seattle with what was that defense? What was that offensive coordinator? Shane Waldron. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people hated him during his time in Chicago, but I pointed this out and I said it. I would love for Ohio State to have his plays regarding what he does with the tight ends because I pointed this out. I'm like, his passes revolve you passing in windows. Like it's very simple stuff that any quarterback should be able to do. Justin could get the ball. He got the hand like with Russell Wilson. He had trouble getting the ball out of his hands. Same with Geno Smith. When he was their offense coordinator, both of them got the ball out of their hands really fast under
Hmm.
Shane Waldron. And I believe Shane Waldron could have done that with Justin. And I believe that was the thing with Caleb Williams is like, brother, you have openings to get the ball out of your hands. You're just not throwing it.
Yeah.
Justin Fields can throw that stuff and he'll get it in those windows because he knows how to. He's been doing it for a while. He can see it. And I think with Shane Waldron, he would have been able to get the ball out of his hands faster. Same way I think he did with Arthur Smith. He did get the ball out of his hands faster with Arthur Smith. If he was in the Atlanta Falcons with Arthur Smith, I think first of all Arthur Smith's time in Atlanta would have been so much better for starters, but also he also would have been able to get the ball out of Justin's hands a lot faster and would have been able to use his mobility as well. Because the thing is with Justin is he's a true dual threat. He's a guy who can pass and run, but you need to surround him with the weapons to do it. You need to give him the good coaching, but also give him a defense that gives him chances where he's not trying to fight from behind all the time. The other coach that I think who could get the best out of him was Kevin O'Connell. Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson was one of the main people saying, "Give me Justin Fields. That dude is a weapon. That dude can really make defenses have to
And
pay
that
attention to
and
him."
that could be a choice right now. I think also for the Rams, they're looking for a quarterback. They do not know where Matthew Stafford ends after this season. Justin Fields is definitely a target. I also saw Tua was another, but
I'm
you
hesitant
bring
about Tua because he's too injured. Concussions
yeah his
scares me.
concussions. But if you bring in a guy like Justin Fields into a Sean McVay type of system where Puka gets to get outside more, like guys get to have their moments. I
And
think
more importantly, you even get to like see the usage of tight ends because Justin loves
yeah.
throwing to like when he was here at Ohio State. One of the biggest things, like we had for the first time here at Ohio State, 1,000-yard receivers for the first time ever in college football, as well as in Ohio State history. Like that was the first time that
Mhm.
ever happened. And then you look at what he did with the tight ends too. Like he made the tight ends weapons with how much he was throwing at them. Like he loves using the tight ends and the receivers. He loves getting the running backs involved as well in the passing game as much as he does in the run game. So it's like if you're able to give him the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, pretty much a Chip Kelly style offense, I said it before. Give him Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly would have been blushing over Fields. He'd be like, all right, let me find out all the ways I can use Fields. Okay, I'm gonna use him here. I'm gonna use him here. He's
Yeah.
gonna be my triple option. Like that's how you should be using Fields. Like
Yeah.
in the NFL, you have to be mobile now. You can't just sit in the pocket. Like you should be able to sit in the pocket, throw the ball, read the defense, and do all that. But now
Yeah.
you have to be mobile because you ain't got a choice. Like you finna be running for your life a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
look at CJ. During his time with the Houston Texans,
let's
he
not
has to run.
let's not look at CJ, huh?
No,
Let's
seriously.
wait a
No,
minute.
Like, here's what I'm saying. Look at CJ and what he's done with the Houston Texans. Like, his offensive line hasn't been great. Like, his first year, they weren't great for the first 2 weeks, but then their final weeks up until the second round against the Ravens, they were actually really good. But then you look at these past 2 years he's been in the NFL, the
Yeah.
offensive line hasn't been great. But even during that time, he ran the football a lot. He
Yeah.
didn't do it much here at Ohio State. He only did it for 2 games, but the reason was because nobody wanted him to run, and I don't never
Mhm.
get that. And I understand why you don't want him hurt, but guess what? He's going to have to. And guess what? He had to do that in Houston. And you saw his
Yeah.
athleticism just show, but his ability to also kill you with his legs, but also beat you with his arm, especially with that ball placement ability. My God, that's something you got to worry about. Like, you got to worry about his mobility on top of that with his passing. Like, man.
I think CJ, even in this past playoff run, it was a lot of questions. A lot of questions need to be answered, not just by CJ, by the Houston team itself.
I was about to say about the Houston team, mostly about offense.
Yeah, the offensive point. It's just like it's a lot of misconstrues of what happened They have pieces. They need more pieces, and then they need. I think it's time for a coaching change. If it was me, I think it's time for a coaching change, just because it's
It's
they've
gonna be
played,
hard for them.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's gonna be
they
hard for them too
played
because it's like we made the playoffs these last 3 years. So
right,
like,
and this year was really strong because you start off at least 0-3 to start the season, and then you go on this fantastic winning games. I think won like 8 straight, 6 straight, and just kept winning, and it was great to see. But even against Pittsburgh, CJ had moments. He's still having moments. Now, can they be corrected? Of course they can. I
oh,
think
absolutely.
CJ can be a great quarterback for the near future for anybody's franchise.
I
And
would love for him to win the Super Bowl because then I ain't got to hear Michigan fans talk about with Tom Brady as their Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like now, y'all can shut up. I would hope for that. I would be rooting for that. I'd be rooting for that. Like that's what all of us. That's what all of us are rooting for. It's like,
I think we
please,
all want
please,
one of them. It's either Justin or CJ. One of them.
both of them. I would love for
Right.
both of them to win the Super Bowl.
Both of
I don't
them.
care which one. Like both of them, if you can. Like have CJ win the Super Bowl at one point, then have Justin do it. Then we can say we have two quarterbacks that win the Super Bowl
And
from
and
Ohio State.
and you have an Ohio Buckeye could be winning one this season in Seattle.
Yeah, and
If-
not only that, but really, if you really look at it, like look at Trevion Henderson and Quinshawn in New England and the Browns, like they've been having outstanding rookie seasons. And Emeka Ibuka, him and Emeka Ibuka are finalists for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ohio State is literally the only team to have two players for Offensive Rookie of the Year. They're the only team to have that ever. So when I look at that, I'm like, this year in the NFL, everybody's called it the Ohio State Alumni Showcase. Why? Because it's been Ohio State players just showing out all for the past set of weeks, especially not only from players from previous teams from back then, but even players from 2024 team. And I'm looking at like next year, it's like I'm excited for Carnell. I can't wait to see where he goes. I said it too. I'm like, put him. And here's my dream kind of fantasy almost in a sense. I was like, if you could get Justin Fields on like the Cardinals or the Rams in a sense, and you're able to put Carnell there with either Puka Nacua or Marvin Harrison Jr., which I would love that.
Yeah.
Or you're able to get, if the Vikings were able to get him and you get Carnell Tate with Justin Fields, James Addison, Justin Jefferson, you got an elite trio of receivers right there with TJ Hawkinson, who's an elite tight end. And you got Aaron Judge. Now you got a run game. And you pretty much have a strong offensive line with Donnie Jackson there. It's like, you pretty much got yourself something right there. You just need to figure out what you're going to do on defense after that. And it's like, if you're able to get, kind of find a way for this offense, I'm like, man, they could be offense galore. Or if the Houston Texans were to draft him, CJ actually gets a number one receiver instead of Nico Collins. A legitimate one.
Mm-hmm.
Or hopefully Chris Olave can get away from the freaking Rams because I'm so sick. I'm not the Rams, the Saints, because I'm so sick of
the Saints. Yeah, Chris Olave, he got it. Yeah,
I'm so sick of him getting thrown hospital balls by the quarterbacks. Like this guy already got like 4 concussions.
They got Rattler now is the starter for them. They got to figure out their quarterback situation. And that was a team that was really, really interesting because they could have got Shador and they missed out on him. And I don't know why they did that to themselves. Because the person they got in like from Louisville, he's not even playing. They don't trust him. So I don't know where New Orleans is trying to go from here.
Yeah, who knows where they're trying to go? But I'm really excited to see how these seasons for all the former Buckeyes play out. But I'm also excited for the NFL season next year as well. Now I'm really excited for the NFC and AFC divisional title games because like you got former Buckeyes on these teams, and I'm like, please let me. I don't care which one. I'm rooting for anything that got a Buckeye. Give me either one of these teams that end up winning. You got a Buckeye on them. And you know what would be funnier is Ty Hamilton, who's basically, if the Rams did go all the way, like for Ty Hamilton, that would be amazing because you just got drafted like last year. So
it's work. We're trying to work now. We're trying to work now.
I mean, but I also would love it for Jason Smith the Jimbo to go to the Super Bowl, be Super Bowl MVP like freaking Santonio Holmes, and just dominate and be a Super Bowl MVP. I would love that for him.
It's been a good season. It's been a good year overall for football and the NBA, college. Like it's been a really good year because.
What's your thoughts on the Houston Rockets, by the way? Because I've seen the Houston Rockets; they've actually been pretty good.
They need a point guard. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this for approximately 10 minutes. Is the only thing I'm going to say. I love him in. I love Sangoon. I understand that it's the Sangoon show. I understand that you bring KD in to be the second option to the Sangoon show. They need a point guard.
What do you
I
think of
think
Reed Shepard as a point guard?
he has some more he's been great, but I think he's the backup for now. Only because his development is still there. Like he has some really good games. He's turning into the point guard that they need and that they want.
Yeah.
That's what he's turning into. They're turning into that guy, but he still needs to fit into certain places because even when they were playing, they played San Antonio and that was a big win for them. But then
Oh
they
yeah.
lost the next game. So it's certain cases that they need more help.
Yeah. I
They
would say
need
that.
more help.
Yeah, they definitely do. Now, I do want to ask you this too. What's your thoughts on the Detroit Pistons all of a sudden being number one in the Eastern Conference? Did you expect that? Because I
I
didn't.
I expected so I was a fan of Cade when he first came into the league from Oklahoma. And then they got Jaden Ivey, who was another big piece for them. And then they got Asar. And and then you bring JB Bickerstaff in, and then we talk, and this is when we talk about coaches that hold players accountable. JB came in and held everybody accountable, but he also came in with that Detroit ferociousness. He came in with that Detroit back, and like he was like he got into everybody's face. I think Kate turned into the superstar we all wanted him to become.
Mhm.
I think Asar became the person that we want him to become. I think Jalen Duren became the center and the power forward that we want him to become. I think it surprised me because I thought the Knicks were going to be number one team in the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
this time around.
Which is still kind of funny with the Knicks, because it's like you get this whole turnaround
Yeah,
all of a sudden. Y'all plus the Detroit Pistons have sucked for years, and now all of a sudden you're the
yeah. So I
two
thought
of the
the
top
Knicks
three
were going to
teams.
be definitely one of those teams. Milwaukee has usually used to be the number one team, and they've struggled this season.
Yeah,
And
they're 11th right now. They're
yeah,
11th.
so they're still struggling.
Hmm.
Um, who else? Orlando has made some really big turns this year. That's really been surprising, but they've been really going off of Pablo and everybody else that's throughout that team. Detroit has surprised me because of how fast they've come in such little time. This team is still so young and feels so like they're ready. If they now could they beat a team like OKC right now if the playoffs started tomorrow? I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't know
I don't know
because
yet.
of how OKC is. Now, San Antonio has been a powerhouse. I didn't expect San Antonio to be this good this quickly.
Me either.
I I expected them to take more time, and they have turned it around for themselves, which has been awesome.
Is has has the head coach retired yet, or do they have an entirely new head coach?
Yeah, Popovich retired. He's now the he
Okay,
kind of
I figured.
he turned into the president. He's still a part of the team. He got a office role. So
Okay,
they
smart.
that and that's why I said that because Greg is still having he still is going to tell you how this should go. Like he's going to be like, okay, so you're going against this team, you know what they're good at. You did it. Like he still has certain control, which is great because Greg's mind is still there. Like Greg is still the
I
person that
wish the NBA had more coaches like him.
yeah
Like you still got some like we talked about it with JB Bickerstaff who holds Detroit accountable, but you still have Miami's head coach who's still there and he still holds everybody accountable.
yeah.
And then you
Uh,
have
Eric
and you just
Spoelstra, Eric
yeah, Eric
Spoelstra.
Spoelstra, he still does that. And then what's the Rockets head coach name again?
Oh, Ime Udoka.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
And he holds everybody accountable. He still does do that with the Rockets. Like
yeah,
he
and he
tells these
should.
guys, like he's like, nah, if y'all screw up, you finna get held accountable. That's what he said.
I've said if stuff didn't go down in Boston, they would have had a championship way before now because the way he had that team in Boston, the way he had Tatum, Jalen, like the way he was running that, they would have been back to the finals and had a championship in the grabs because of the way he coaches. Now he has done such well with this young team, with Sangoon, with Amin. Like I think that they've really overexceeded expectations, especially because of how young this team was. They still have a chance. They still hold a great part. And bringing in a player like Kevin Durant, they're going to get better.
And the best part is too is like Kevin Durant respects Ime because what people tend to
Yeah,
forget is he was the is Emeka Doka was there during KD's Nets run, and
yeah.
I think if it wasn't for injuries, I think the Nets would have won an NBA title. The reason
Oh
they
yeah,
didn't is
no.
because of injuries.
If we take out the foot on the line on the three in overtime, if we take out Kyrie getting out and Harden getting injured, that team was making it to the finals to go
Yeah, that
against
was yeah that was the
a
destruction
Phoenix
right
Sun
there.
team, to go against a Phoenix Sun team who I know they can beat.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it was that was I knew from the stuff that was going to happen. So I like where the NBA is now because it's entertaining. I've enjoyed watching NBA games this year. Last year was great because of the ending. You know, Tyrese made the NBA fun again.
Yeah.
From a
You know,
standpoint,
you know what I'm thinking? I had talked about this with my grandmother and we had said it. I was like, everybody hated the NBA after like 2020, 2021, 2022 because the NBA just wasn't fun anymore. Like even before the whole super team thing with Golden State,
yeah,
which I've
even that was
destroyed.
fun.
Yeah, that was
Like,
fun. It's like when you pretty much look at where the NBA was before 2020, it was still a fun
yeah,
NBA.
when Chris Paul went to Houston and Harden, like that was fun. It was really fun to watch them
Yeah.
play. And when Kevin Durant went to Golden State, I when the Lakers won, and then like that year that Golden State went back and won, like that's when things started to take a turn. Like it wasn't as fun as it used to
Oh
be.
yeah, that's when, man. It's like,
Yeah,
and you know what's funny is like I always tell people when it comes to the whole like Kevin Durant going to go to state, it's like stop acting like as if that team was such a super unbeatable team because there are times they almost lost a lot. They almost lost to San Antonio
then they
Spurs in the
lost.
first round. They
Yeah,
almost lost to another team in the second round. They actually ended up beating that team by within
and
five.
then
But
they
the
lost.
Rockets they almost lost to. The one team that they actually handled was the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was the one and only team they were able to handle.
Yeah,
Every other team they almost lost.
because Houston with that first series when Houston and then went at it, that was cinema. That was cinema. You wanted to watch every single game. Like that was it was great basketball being played.
And
And
it was
then
great rivalry too.
yeah, it
Like
was a great
Houston and
rivalry.
Golden State was
And
such a
then
rivalry.
Chris did what Chris does, and you know it hurts because Chris has had so many opportunities of being in great positions, even when he was on the Clippers,
Hmm.
where injuries
With
just
Dunk
kept.
City,
Yeah,
Slam Dunk City, with DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin.
yeah.
Man, oh my
That
god.
that was beautiful. That's when I started watching basketball, is when Lob City was at the helm and they had just beat the Spurs and they went to a game 7 and they had just came off of their championship when they were the they had just came off the championship the year before. And I was like, this was cinema.
Yeah,
This was cinema.
man.
So
Like, and that's where I feel like the NBA is going back to now is somewhat
yeah.
more of that because when you look at where the
Especially
NBA was from the 2020 to 2022, even 2023 a little bit,
yeah.
it was like this. It was like it didn't feel like there were no rivalries. It felt like everybody was a little too friendly. But then when you start seeing guys like Devin Booker and
Yeah.
freaking Luka Doncic, like they got their
Yeah.
little rivalry. You got rivalries starting among a lot of these other young teams with these young players. It's like
Yeah.
you bringing the
Cleveland,
NBA
New
back.
York. Cleveland, New York has become a rivalry to me.
Yeah, they become a rivalry.
Yeah,
They
just in
become
the
really
way they
feisty.
play. Yeah. So I think you're getting that now with a lot of young teams like Cade, like Detroit. They're getting that back. And then the draft, when you look at these guys that are coming into these teams, it is VJ Edgecombe, incredible for Philadelphia. He's been having an incredible season. Cooper Flag getting his way, but Detroit
Yeah.
is going to be one of those teams. And then you got Cameron Boozer coming in. You got Darren Peterson. You got AJ DeBonsa coming in next year. You're going to see a lot more. The NBA is getting to that point now. And then you're going to have Tyrese coming back next season. You're going to have Jason Tatum. You're going to have, it's going to be more fun. It's going to be, I think the NBA is getting back to what they used to be able to do good.
Hmm.
And that is bringing people in and showing them like what their branding is. The playoffs are going to be extraordinary
Yeah, what
because
you think of the NBA like couple of title they have during the midseason? As
I think it needs to be more to it. I like what they kind of do. I like the WNBA Cup. How they do it is because when you win the WNBA Cup, you get an automatic bid in the playoffs. So I like it how they kind of do it. The NBA, I always trying to find new ways to make the season feel longer. So
I think they're trying to make the season feel important because there'll be like certain games where it's like players don't really care and they try to opt
yeah,
out. So it's like they're trying to find ways to make it more entertaining, make the
I
regular
feel
season more
like they
entertaining.
just need to replace that with the All Star game, and we'll be okay. Because
You
the
know what
All
I would say? You know what I would say? Like with the All Star game, that it needs to get rejuvenated back to what it used to be. Because the
I
All Star week used to be so fun, and it's like
even in
because you had
Chicago,
all the yeah,
the
even like the superstars used to be a part of it. They don't take part in it no more, and it's like you're kind of starting to see slowly but surely some of them are starting to take part of it again. But I think if you can get more of them in it, it
I
would make it
don't
more fun.
I don't like the new setup for this year. I think it's a waste. I think the
Yeah.
world versus USA is a waste. The world is going to dominate. What is this? What are we doing? What are we doing,
I guess
guys?
you feel very confident because Team USA won the gold medal with KD, LeBron, and them.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I think it is for them. I'm like, yeah,
I
I'm not
think they're
confident about that.
still trying to get fan involvement back because like I
Mm.
remember when they first started the captains picking their teams, that was fun because you didn't know who was going to get picked. And then like the first year it was private. I think the first year they did it was LeBron and Steph and they picked their teams and they just showed you what they did and it was a private. And then it was like, nah, we can make this public and y'all pick the teams and do that. And then it was like LeBron and Giannis, and like the year LeBron and Giannis did it, it was really fun. That was a whole fun year. Like I think
Hmm.
they're trying to get that back because that weekend used to be really fun. The dunk contest used to be really fun. The 3-point contest used to be just a 3-point contest. Now it's kind of be like, oh, I want to watch the 3-point contest more than I want to watch the dunk contest.
Yeah, like, that's basically how it is. And look, the 3 point contest was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, especially when Steph Curry started doing his thing with the threes. It was like you finna
Yeah,
just you like it was really fun watching that a lot. But it's like, but it's like I hope the NBA can continue doing this upward trend where it can get back to what it used to be. Because like I said, I got into the NBA for the same reason I got into football, and for the same reason I even got into wrestling when I was a
yeah,
kid. It was like you had so much great rivalry, so much entertainment aspects of it. If the NBA could continue getting back to that, then we good, man. Because like the NFL, they still take their rivalries really seriously, and
yeah,
that's what I want to see more of. Even in college basketball, like it was so much more fun to watch it than the
yeah.
NBA
Because
because they take it seriously.
those are built in the school, like Duke in North Carolina,
Yeah,
built. That's built in the school. When you come there, you have to like Buckeye in Michigan. That's built in the school.
oh
You are
yes,
not a Michigan fan when you go to Ohio State. That's
you're
just how
not.
it has to be.
Or like Minnesota versus matter of fact, no, it's probably better. Like, was it like who's that trophy that they share a axe with? Wisconsin does.
Uh,
Is it Minnesota or is it somebody else I'm thinking of?
I think it might be Minnesota.
I think it's Minnesota. Yeah, because I tend to forget who because it's like it's been a while because especially because Wisconsin has sucked. Like I
Yeah,
used to really enjoy watching them and those games. I'm like, man, it ain't no fun no more because it's like y'all suck so bad to a point where it's like it's not fun watching that no more. It's not. So, but it's like it's rivalries like that uh, that I enjoyed watching in the basketball. Something that gets ingrained in these schools is the
yeah.
rivalries and the history, like or USC and UCLA or USC with
No, it was Michigan and Michigan State and Indiana became a big rivalry
yeah,
because of Magic and Larry. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then obviously like you and then like obviously you have Michigan and Michigan State, which is an in-state rivalry. Obviously,
yeah,
you got USC and Washington. Well, really Oregon and Washington actually.
yeah.
USC and Notre Dame used to be a
Illinois,
spectacular rivalry.
Illinois' rival is Northwestern. Yeah, Northwestern.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
and
Illinois, Northwestern.
their rival used to be Ohio State.
Yeah,
Funny enough, they used to be Ohio State. It's like I think when Illinois went as good as they used to be, that's when the rivalry kind of stopped because it's like, guys, it's not gonna be fun anymore being rivals if you guys aren't really that great. Now, if Illinois can continue to be good like they are under Brett Bielema, you might see that rivalry pick up a little more.
yeah. That
Now,
rival.
now I do think in basketball is still a thing, but in football, definitely not.
Oh yeah, no. I think Illinois and Ohio State, like from a basketball standpoint. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, like I think
it's
yeah, from a
real.
basketball standpoint, that's still a rivalry.
Yeah,
Maybe not as big as Ohio State, Michigan, because them two teams still hate each other in every sport, like more than anybody else. But but yeah, no, they do have other rivals in other sports. And the Illinois Ohio State is, I think, the second biggest rivalry in as regarding the Big Ten basketball, I think they're the second biggest rivalry. Then it's like Michigan State and Michigan, obviously,
Yeah,
especially with Tom Izzo still being there. So it's like, yeah, it's still there. Like, I enjoy it, and then I think Purdue still has a rival too, especially with how good their basketball team has been.
yeah.
I think
Purdue.
they
I
still,
think Purdue still holds a rivalry with Illinois, or like
yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
anybody
Like,
in
that's
under.
still,
Yeah, anybody under here. So it's I love that the atmosphere, because even when I got to college, the atmosphere of college games, of the back and forths of fans, makes these games enticing. And I think that used to be what the NBA used to be. Everybody used
yeah,
to go. I mean, we just celebrated Derrick Rose jersey retirement yesterday,
yeah,
and you felt like a lot of fans grew up and felt that Derrick Rose, like when he first got to the Bulls.
I did. I did, man.
How
I went to one of his games actually as a kid. My dad took me to a game of the Chicago Bulls with Noah Kim, Derrick Rose, Boozer, and all them, TJ, Taj Gibson, and all them, Lowell Dang. I remember that team. They used to be so good. I was so upset. I was like, bro, for the Chicago Bulls, he would have been there. He would have been the next superstar since Michael Jordan to bring the Chicago Bulls to relevancy. And then injuries just happened with his knee, and I'm like,
yeah.
God damn it!
And then injuries just happened and it just came out of nowhere. But he was an all-star, he was an MVP, he was Rickety, and he was the future of the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
He was that guy. And to see what he's done so much for Chicago, for the fan base, because before him, there was nobody after, because it was Mike. And when Mike left, we really needed somebody to bring back that
hmm,
love. And Derek was that person. Derek
yeah,
was that guy. And so now we're trying to find that again. We're trying to find that love again. But it was hard, man. It was hard. I didn't expect it to be that hard, man, to watch Derek kind of, to see for his jersey to be retired, to be like, this is it. I'm calling it quits.
yeah.
Calling it up.
I would, if I ever do, because I know a certain somebody who does know Derrick Rose, and I was going to ask her at some point because she tried to see if she could, because she talks to his mother, and I said if I
Mhm.
could ever get him to do an interview on this show, would
Yeah.
you like to be a part of it?
Of course. We gotta talk to Derrick Rose, man. He's the Chi-Town kid. We gotta
Yeah,
we
like
gotta
I
talk to
loved him
that guy.
growing up. I was so upset what happened to him. I see it. Oh, I hope I can get a chance. I'm gonna try to talk to my person when I get the opportunity to talk to
Hmm.
his mom about getting an interview. But I would love to have him on the show because it would be awesome.
It would be great. That'd be
Yeah,
dope.
I will ask a friend of mine to help me come up with some legitimate questions, like from start to finish, like what my producer, Buck Vader, who's a producer of all the shows regarding the OHL podcast, or even shows that
Hmm.
are expansions of the OHL podcast, such as the Spectrum Pod. He helps us a lot with everything. So if I ever get the opportunity, I'm gonna ask him. If I do get this, he's gonna help me come up with some questions regarding that because I'm gonna have it's gonna be fun asking Derek all them questions.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun just to hear what he has to say about a lot of different things that's happened in Chicago.
And really, not only that, but also like getting to know him. Like one of the best part about the interviews myself and Sean always did is we interviewed these players, so you get to like know things about them that you never knew before, like stories that you got to hear.
Yeah,
Like what we did with Orlando, one of our former not Pace, but another Orlando who we did an interview with, and he told us like a story about what happened with his kidney, and no one ever knew that, and it was like that was awesome hearing about that.
you learn a
That's
lot
what you want to
about
hear.
you learn a lot about these players, especially when they leave. I mean, I would have loved to hear more about Kobe when he retired. Just like what, because a lot of people got to know Kobe after he retired because he was so basketball driven. Everything was basketball, basketball, basketball. To see him outside of that realm of basketball and to see him as the person that Kobe was, like that would have been awesome.
Man, I wish I would have got a chance to. I'm so prayers to him and his
Yeah,
daughter,
and his
but
family. Yeah,
and his family as a whole. But it's
yeah.
like I really wish I could have got the opportunity. I really wish I
I
could
think
have
I
had.
think we all would have wanted to hear more about kind of who he was as that person. Like I think kind of we wanted the same with Mike. I feel like we
Yeah,
really want to hear more about like how Mike was when he was going through when he was in Chicago. So you learn these stories as time goes.
Yeah, you'll learn more about these stories. Like we did, like The Last Dance really did give you a lot of like
Yeah.
stories regarding him too.
Yep.
Like with Michael, he left to do MLB because it was his father's wish before he died, is for his
Hmm.
son to go play in the MLB, to play baseball, which is why he left. Like he came back to basketball to scratch that itch again.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then he did it even in his 40s, and even in his 40s, he's just like, this dude is still a great
Yeah,
basketball
Mike
player
still
despite
played the
that.
same. How you do that, Mike? How you didn't have no chamber. You didn't have what these young guys have, and Mike was still playing at the top of the top. Even when he retired, Mike still played at that level. No matter what Mike was going, like Mike was still going to play the best way he could possibly play.
Yeah. That you would never like. Let me be real. It'll be a long, long time before you ever see another NBA player like a Michael Jordan ever.
Yeah, I
It'd be
think
a long time.
I think you talk about the LeBrons and the Michaels. You'll
Look,
never
I don't buy into that whole thing with LeBron.
you'll never have a player that had Michael's ability to break
No.
down game, to do what he did. Now, I don't think you ever have another player that has LeBron's athleticism, LeBron stamina, the way that he does. I don't think you're ever going to see that again. You're going to see players that get close. I think that Zion was one of those players that was going to get close because of his build, but he also lacked in a lot of different places.
I was thinking that with Giannis, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Like his build and everything. Like I was thinking, like, oh, he could be that guy as well. It's honestly the same thing you say about Kevin Durant, because you see guys like Victor Wembanyama and Bobo who try to model their game after a guy who's
hmm
7 foot tall, who can still be as great on defense. Like Kevin Durant, regardless of how people feel, is really good on defense. He actually
yeah.
is. People just don't
Kevin
talk about it enough.
Kevin was a two-way.
Yeah, he's a two-way player. People
Even
just
in
don't talk
Texas,
about that.
like you talk about his body, like he don't have no muscle. Kevin Durant has the best shooting of anybody before. Take out Steph. Kevin Durant can
Honestly,
still.
first of all, I think he's better than stuff. Like Steph is the better 3 point shooter, you could say, but like Kevin Durant is a better all around efficient shooter.
Yeah,
Because
just the way that he gets to each spot on the court. Kevin Durant is a great shooter.
And not only that, but like Kobe Bryant did an interview talking about Kevin Durant, and he said, at one point I used to try to make this man go to his left because he was not comfortable with that. Well, then he spent all his time in the gym practicing with how to go with his left hand, and
Yeah,
from that point forward, like Kobe Bryant was like, I don't know how to defend this guy no more. I don't know how to defend this guy. He does everything good. Like whatever weakness you think you can find in Kevin, he just works on it because he just plays basketball.
yeah.
And I don't think you
Kevin,
would ever see somebody like Kevin Durant for a long time either. There are guys who
yeah.
will come close, but you will not see a 7 footer like this guy.
I think people thought it was going to be Victor, and Victor plays a different way. He doesn't play just like Kevin,
He
but
doesn't play like him. He says he models his game after Kevin, but also
yeah,
after someone
you can
else
see
too.
small things of like that. But I don't think you're ever going to meet a player like Kevin Durant that can get to the spots, that can get to the floor like he does.
Yeah, it's
Because
gonna take a lot of work.
yeah, it is. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a
Like,
lot.
because Kevin Durant, he just trained himself constantly. That's how he was able
Yeah.
to do it. He just said it. I just trained myself constantly. I always worked on what I wasn't great at on the court. Even like as a people do kind of underestimate him as a playmaker in a sense. Like
Yeah.
what point guards do, like being in an assist. Like people do underestimate that about him. His rebounding, everything. It's like no, he could do all that. He just like he does what is needed of him. Like if the team needs him to do those things, he
hmm
absolutely will. Like he will play defense. Like again, I've seen that man's defensive numbers and I've seen him on the court. Like man, that dude could block your shot. He gives guys like for instance, Brooke Lopez, who is 7 foot tall. Actually, he's a little taller than Kevin Durant. Actually, Kevin Durant gives him problems down in the paint. Kevin Durant gave guys like Luka Doncic, who was an excellent 3 point shooter, his length and everything just gave him so much problems to shoot. Like Kevin
Yeah.
Durant was not an easy guy to shoot on. It was like you really was gonna have to work with Kevin Durant to get the ball off against him because it's like that man's length and his ability to move his feet. You were really gonna have to work, even in the paint. I don't care if you're a guy like Brooke Lopez who's bigger than him. You really gonna have to work for your shots in the paint, like, and in the mid range. Like that's something you can't take away. Like you're not gonna see a guy like that who can do it all. Yes, he may have never ever won a Defensive Player of the Year award or whatever, but that's because people were too focused on what he did on offense instead of what he was doing on defense. And you're never gonna see that again. You're never gonna see a 7 footer who do what this man did, which is everything. He can be a playmaker. He can be a scorer when you need him to be. He can be a defensive elite player when you need him to be. He can do everything you want him to. You're not going to see that.
I agree. I don't think you're going to see a lot of guys that can do what he can do. But Kevin just loved the game. That was another big thing that
Yeah,
people take for granted. They think, oh, well, Kevin Durant is this and that. Kevin loves the game of basketball just as much as anybody else.
more than
Kevin loves
anybody
to
else.
play this game. He loves it. This is what he
Hmm.
does. So I don't think you're ever going to see a talent like him again.
Yeah,
The
I don't think so either.
players gonna say we got close. Nobody's gonna get close to what.
Let me tell you something. You have players who will model him, who will probably be from a on the court kind of standpoint, resemble him, but not gonna be exactly Kevin.
Yeah, it's not gonna be close.
Not
Not gonna
even.
be close.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, this has been awesome to talk to you. And like I said, I know for a fact everybody's been excited to pretty much get to know you.
Well, I'm thankful that you guys have got to know the guy himself. I
Yeah,
appreciate
like I said, and I know for a fact, like I told everybody on the OHR podcast, if the thing continues to expand, which it will, we're actually very, very close to like 10. We're getting to a point where we're almost at like 10,000 subscribers.
it.
And it's
Mm,
like we're looking for some more expansion. And I said, hey, this is a guy, and I vouch for you. I said, this is a guy you're going to want on here because he is just like me. He may be calmer than me, not as crazy as I am, but he can be much calmer. He's every bit like me. He knows how to speak sports. He knows how to do data analysis like I do. We know our sports, man. And like I
yeah,
said to them, you're going to enjoy having both of us on because I
yeah.
promise you that after this, Eric going to be like, how often can you do this? I know everybody gonna be asking, how often can you do this? Because we would love to see the two of you back on, which I know for a fact they would love to have you back.
Yeah, I would love to come back. I would love to be a part of this show, man. It's been great talking to you again because we've had conversations like on the phone that I
Yeah.
was like, man, they're gonna be like, can we hear those conversations? What can y'all record those? Because it's just the love that we both share for this, like
Mm-hmm.
from talking about football to basketball to anything, and especially when it comes to players coaching, we take a look at all of it because it all matters from
Yeah.
systems and dynamics. So yeah, like I think this is a great. I think we're off to a great start. I
I
think we're just
oh
getting
we are.
started.
You know what I think too? Because I said it because I'm gonna start an NBA reaction show on Patreon where I get to watch the NBA, like at least highlights or the full games if they're available. Because I'm not gonna do it on YouTube because I'm not gonna try to do no copyright strike. We ain't
Yeah,
dealing with
yeah,
that.
the
Like,
copyright is
but
crazy.
Patreon you can do that, and I have been doing some reactions to NFL games. So if there's ever a chance, I might try to bring you on for those too because those have been fun to do.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can start doing watch alongs if I can figure out how to get it on the computer at least, or could do exactly what I see other people do with watch alongs, where we could just sit and watch the game and we could just record it from the TV. We can't show the game, but we just watch it on TV.
Yeah, I've been saying that too, especially from live streams, and we can just like give our own opinions of like kind of like a play by play type of aspect. So yeah, I'm good
Yeah,
at it.
yeah. We'll try to. I'll try to see. I'll try to figure it out on here. Obviously, at least if I can do that. But if not, like we could just do. We could do like the rewatches, obviously, of the full game, which they do actually put on YouTube nowadays. At least the NFL does that, and the NBA. Like they actually do have the full games out there, not just the highlights. The highlights is just if you want to get through it quickly.
Mhm.
So it's like we could do that at some point. Like I said, I did react to a playoff game. I got to go back and react to some playoff games because I know I've kind of stuttered off of that a little bit, but that's only
Yeah.
because it's like, hey, look, I'm going to wait and then I'm going to give my full on opinions on the playoffs after the fact. So, James, thank you for coming on, man.
Oh,
And
thank you guys for having me.
yeah, and for everybody, make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe, and also comment in this video to help the algorithm get on. And if you guys want to see more shows like this, make sure you leave a like and then put in that comment section regarding how you guys felt about this whole thing. Again, share with family. And I do got Bart. Again, I'm going to keep telling you, buddy, you going to make the merchandise for the Spectrum podcast. You going to make the merchandise. I don't care how you feel. You going to make this merchandise because you know everybody going to want it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys next time.